I think that there's going to be some surprises. There's going to be some
I
surprises.
see a UFO.
There's going to be some surprises this week. I'm telling you.
All right.
In the first week.
Tell us about Monday Night Football, Joey.
Well, I'll tell you. We're actually going to have ourselves 2 games. And this has been a tradition that was started a couple of years back. Where I love it, don't you?
Me too. Yeah.
You get there early, and you can drink, and you have a reason to be drinking because there's a game on.
Yeah.
And then another one comes on, and you're like, I don't need to be drinking anymore because I don't. There's no need for that. I'm having fun with my friends. I'm having fun with my football buddies and everybody else that's there, and I'm enjoying the game, and I'm enjoying what I'm seeing, and there's real competition. Hey, there's another game on. I'm not going to bed early. This is terrific. This is terrific. Double whammy.
I know. You get 6 hours of football on Monday night instead of the usual 3. How much better could that be?
It ends up being 6?
Well, yeah, because they're back to back.
It's a reason to call in sick. It really is.
It is. Or leave work early, call in sick on Tuesday. They did, not Monday.
Michael Vick, Nick Foles, Shady McCoy, and Coach Chip Kelly, better known as the reformed, rejuvenated, and refocused Philadelphia Eagles, are also doing a division rival, and it comes from the same division, the NFC East.
See.
They are traveling to Washington to take on one of their biggest rivals, the Redskins. And you're probably not going to be surprised, but I'm going to say it anyway. The Eagles are going to beat the spread. The Eagles are the underdog by 4.5 points to the Redskins at home. And you know what? It ain't going to happen, folks. It's not going to happen. The Redskins will get better as the season progresses, but upset. Mark my words. You got an upset here.
Okay,
you're steaming at the ears, but I love how you're holding it. I admire you, my friend.
I was giving you the opportunity to finish your rant or your prediction.
Well, I'm not done talking about
All right,
it.
well,
as usual.
I'll chime in. And
so I would love to hear what you have to say.
These are the same Eagles. The same Eagles that absolutely just discombobulated. They fell apart at the seams last year in Andy Reid's last season, and that's why it was Andy Reid's last season. I'll still say this about Michael Vick. He is not an NFL quarterback. He has the job of playing quarterback in the NFL, but without the talent. He cannot hit the open receiver. He could not hit the side of a barn. And I'll save my last critique of Michael Vick maybe for later, if I feel so inclined. Anyhow, the expectations for the Eagles were very high last year because of the way they finished the prior season, right? Where they came on strong, they were smoking people. And so they thought, oh, wow, we're going to pick up where we left off. But last year was a disaster. They were losing to everybody. They were really losing to everybody. I know that they won a home game against the Giants. They had another home win against a really good team, but they were losing to people that were in the middle of the NFL, people that were towards the bottom of the NFL, and I don't know, what can I say? Now,
that is all true.
The coach, Chip, what's Chip's name? Kelly?
Kelly. Two first names.
He's the Oregon coach, right?
Oregon Ducks.
All right, we talked about this. Quack yourself. Quack. We talked about this in May. I don't know if Chip Kelly's going to try and do it in Philadelphia what he did in Oregon. I hope he does, and it'll really be an interesting sort of experiment, regardless of how it works out, and that's regardless of what you think about the Beagles. I don't think you can get that was like a run and shoot offense times 5 that they ran at Oregon, and they ran it extremely well, and they were getting 10 or 15 yards on almost every play. Is it going to work in the NFL against the Redskins or whoever they're playing? I don't know. I would have to say no. The NFL is a copycat league. If one team figures out a new plan, like a scheme or a line or an arrangement, that they win with, you can count on it. Next season, or maybe by the end of the same season, the other teams will have copied it for themselves and made a lot of progress in figuring out how to beat it. So, innovation is one of the names of the game in the NFL. Although there's a lot of copycatting, so it's not like you get a patent and you can have the only team with the new offense for 17 years.
You're going to get caught up to eventually.
Redskins, RG3, second pick in the draft, starting quarterback for the Deadskins last year. I don't mean to call them names when I call them the Deadskins, but anyhow,
I call them that.
They made the playoffs for the first time in many moons by beating in the last game. Guess who?
The Eagles.
the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh,
They played their usual role.
that's dismal.
I know. And anyway, the Redskins had a home playoff game against the Seahawks. They didn't have too much of a chance after their quarterback RG3 got hurt. But the Seattle Seahawks defense was very, very good in that game. And Mike Shanahan is still the coach. He's a damn good coach. He's a proven coach. He's won 2 Super Bowls with the Denver Broncos way back in the day.
Can't take that away.
Right. So you got a proven veteran coach on one side, a proven college coach on the other. RG3, he should be back. He's very versatile. He lit it up in college, and there's a reason they picked him as the number 2 player in the draft. I think the Redskins have a real edge. If the Eagles, anytime a team is adapting to a new coach and a new offensive plan, probably a defensive plan too, there's going to be a period of adjustment. The 4.5 points, is that going to be too many? I don't know. I'm going to pick the Deadskins, the Washington Redskins minus the 4.5. I don't believe in the Eagles, and I'll start believing in them maybe after they prove something to me.
Well, there it is.
There it is.
Now, I want to talk about a bunch of players that are going to make the difference for the Eagles.
All right.
And when I say a bunch of players, I mean a bunch of players. So just give me a moment to go back to some of our previous team roster updates that we did. And I got some players I want to mention. I think you're going to find, well, you probably won't, but you should. I think you're going to find, just like me, that this is more than enough to take them over the edge. I see 20.
Yeah, they may go over the edge.
Huh?
They may go over the edge.
Oh, an
You wouldn't
eagle
be
over the
surprised.
edge means that there's a wounded wing, at least one, right?
I think it's like a pickup truck that goes over the edge. Not a flying thing like a bird.
I see 27 significant players.
27.
27 with the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, of all the teams that together combined, we talked about earlier that we felt were going to be the best teams, the elite teams in the NFL for this season. I didn't have the highest second team that we had was the San Francisco 49ers with 20 significant players. The players that I see with the Eagles that are going to make a whole lot of difference. Number one, Nate Allen is one of their safeties who's 4 years into the league. He's proven, he's consistent, he's quick, and he's smart. He's a smart football player. He's still with them. Jason Avant, yeah, he's 30 years old, but as I go down this list, what you're going to hear more than anything is they're going to have to decide what they want to do here, the Philadelphia Eagles, because with Chip Kelly coming in, one of the things, unfortunately, that he inherited was he inherited some players like Michael Vick and some others that are quite a ways up there in age. I mean, in NFL terms, they're 68 or close to it. And by the way, Mickey, a very startling statistic I heard the other day. Mm-hmm. Could you guess what the average age of an NFL player is in their life? In other words, what's the average age that an NFL player dies, if they play in the NFL at all?
Oh, 50.
You know what? You're very close. It's 55, which I think is a dismal and startling, as I said, startling statistic. If you play in the NFL, the average length of your life, whether it doesn't matter when you retire, obviously, it's only 55 years old. So you talk about the punishment that you take.
That's it. It's all tackling, being tackled, blocking, being blocked, injuries.
They pick up Connor Barwin from the Texans to strengthen their linebacker core. They pick up James Casey, also a tight end from the Texans. Also, Patriots Patrick Chung, who actually played for Oregon. Imagine that. I'm sure he probably knew Chuck. He probably knew Chip Kelly.
How many years does he have experience?
5 years for Patrick Chung.
All right.
James Casey has been in the NFL for 5 years also, the tight end that I mentioned. Bryce Brown, I'm high on him because for a rookie, last year he ran the ball extremely well, and they played him in the last couple of games. And yes, he did fumble once or twice, and you don't want to take after J.T. O'Sullivan, okay? Nice guy, but you don't want to take after him, Bryce.
Yeah, we've replaced him. Lance Allworth hanging here in the studio.
Oh, I know, but he used to be over there. That's why I was pointing up there.
Right.
Nick Foles, backup quarterback. Todd
He'll be
Herman's
playing pretty soon.
I'm sorry?
I said he'll be playing pretty soon.
Right.
Not in week 1 necessarily, but you know, Vic's not going to last the whole season.
Well,
He never has.
a little bit of Vicks 44, and I mean, you get up the next morning and you feel spry, and maybe that's all he needs. I mean, I've done it. Todd Herman's, 9 years, 30 years old, 9 years in the league, proven tackle, important position. Cornerback Brandon Hughes, 5 years in the league, Oregon State. I'm seeing Oregon all over this team. Imagine that. You
I
think
know.
Chip Kelly might be familiar with some of these players?
Yeah. Well,